Hi eBay sellers, it's Suzanne A. Wells and welcome back to another eBay SuperSize sales of $100 or more. This is the video where you get to learn what's selling and what to look for when you're out there treasure hunting. The sales in this video are from August of 2021 and come from the monthly thread in my Facebook group. The link to that is below the video. Sellers post what they found, where they found it, how much they paid for it, and show us the actual sale so that you have that data to help you make better decisions about what to buy for resale. So we are going to jump in and get started with Janae Brookins. She purchased 7 of these at a small grocery store in the middle of nowhere, paid $6 a bottle. She's sold 2 sets so far in a couple of weeks. This is a lot of 2 Resolve carpet stain remover, and it's the gold edition, so it's called Resolve Gold. So this lot of 2 sold for $100. My guess is that this is discontinued, and those who love this product are willing to pay that kind of price for it. So check at your grocery stores, drugstores like CVS, Walgreens, Home Depot, anywhere that would sell this product. Be on the lookout for it. Okay, next up is Diana Duhan, sold on consignment for a client, so no cost to me. Took best offer of $100 plus shipping after 5 weeks. This is a Rawlings baseball glove, and again, it's sold for $100. Next up is Gail Craft Murphy. She says, found this huge 52-inch FAO Schwartz frog plush sitting on a dining chair at the second day of a garage sale in June for $5. Snatched him up without checking comps. He took 7 weeks to sell under a 20% off sale. Sold for $104 plus $62 in shipping, meaning the buyer paid that. He's hard to find in this size and has been discontinued. This is a 52-inch FAO Schwartz giant frog plush, and I like the way she has him displayed on a little bed because some of these bigger or floppy plush are kind of hard to get a good photo of. So this was a great idea, staging him that way. So again, she paid $5 for this, and it sold for $104. Okay, Porter Ingram. He says, I have been listening to Suzanne's Money Making Monday podcast for years. I thought I should finally share because it has a nice backstory. Paid $12 at a thrift store this past spring, just sold this weekend for $110. The buyer said they recently broke theirs and had been looking for replacement as it was given to them from their father when they were 10 years old. So this is a vintage Garcia fishing rod. Looks like it's a rod and reel with original case. Sold for $110. So congratulations, Porter, on that, and thank you for your loyalty over all these years watching my videos. But this is the perfect example of having to wait for someone to need what you have. So he only had to wait a few months, paid $12. It sold for $110. Okay, we have Diana back again. Paid $24.99 at Goodwill, took best offer of $112.49 plus shipping after almost 2 years. Sometimes eBay is a marathon and not a sprint. Amen to that. This is a pair of Ariat men's cowboy boots. $24.99, sold for $112.49. Amy Crane Decker. Paid 25 cents for this at a church rummage sale. I generally try to buy perfumes because they are usually a good seller if they have the box. I listed this as a 7-day auction, starting bid of $49.99. I was very happy to see what it sold for. The buyer sent me a funny message asking if I could please prepare the package as if it were going on a trip to the moon. That made me chuckle. Yeah, that's kind of how you should prepare everything these days. This is Guerlain Paris EDT Atomizer fragrance, and she paid a quarter for it. It sold for $115.50. Okay, now we have Yvonne Smith, sold on consignment for a friend. Took a best offer of $120 plus shipping in 2 days. This is a Deuter Kid backpack carrier. It's like a hiking backpack that you put the child in. So she sold it for her friend, took an offer of $120. So hopefully you're getting at least 50% of that, Yvonne. Tiffany Takao, Lions Club fundraiser last Saturday. I started piling up and piling up. One of the men said, "There must be $500 worth of stuff there." And I thought, I hope so. I gave $50 as a donation, already sold 4 of these Yakima car carrier Q clips for $40 yesterday, and this lot of the leftovers for $120 today. So look at this photo. It just looks like a whole bunch of random hardware clips, attachment thingies for a Yakima rack. So her initial investment was pretty low, and she sold this for $120. Now, to the untrained eye, this does not look like $120 worth of stuff. It just looks like a bunch of random thingamajigs. But that's where you are the smarter seller and you have the trained eye. So this isn't like one of those sales that jumps out like, oh, I've seen that thing. It's just a bunch of random little clips and things. Next up is Diane Strumpf. Found this beautiful raku vase at my local thrift. Paid $1.50 for it. Checked comps as they seem to be around $25 to $50 for a typical raku vase, but I thought the shape was unusual and decided to reach for the stars and listed mine for $124.99. It sold 2 days later for full asking price plus shipping. And correct me if I'm not saying this right. When I first glanced at this, I thought it was some kind of funky Himalayan salt lamp because it kind of has that orangey color in it. But it is an art pottery vase signed by the artist. So $1.50, and it sold for $124.99. Julie Gambino, purchased for $16.95 at Salvation Army and sold in less than 12 hours for full asking price of $125. This is a vintage Casio keyboard. Michelle Martin, who is in Australia, purchased at an outlet store for $50 for both, sold in less than a month for $135, including shipping. This is a very popular high-quality brand from Australia. I love them. The item is Peter Alexander Coffee Lover Pants and Top Set. So I have not heard of this brand. I don't even know if we have it in the United States, but now you know to look for it. And it's sold for $135 US. Okay, next up is Jody Clark. Paid $14.44 at Goodwill for this Sony under-the-cabinet AM/FM radio and CD player. Sold in 8 days for $129.95. So some people still like the old-fashioned clock radio and CD player. Not everyone does everything on their phone. Next up is Janine Allen Joyce with an interesting sale. And you have to understand the Handmaid's Tale book and or series on Hulu. I think it's in the fourth season. I did watch it when it first came out, but I don't know, it was a little too off the beaten path for me. But her comment at the beginning, praise be, that's something they say in the book and the show. Anyway, she says, after watching The Handmaid's Tale last year, while waiting for the new season, I bought the book because we all know the book is always better. I bought it for $4.29 from a huge bookseller on eBay. Fast forward to July of this year when I finally get around to reselling it. That's when I realized it was signed. Comps were much higher, but were either first edition or advanced reading copies. So I listed it for $129 and hoped for the best. It sold for asking price with free shipping in a few weeks. Side note, I loved both the book and the movie, but 2020 probably wasn't the best time to get started on this series. And what she means there is it's kind of dark and dystopian, and it's very gray and depressing, and there's a lot of oppression. And so 2020, we had enough going on. We didn't need any more of that. So anyway, uh, asking price was $129.99, and she bought it for $4.29. Okay, now we've got Brian Rappaport, paid $7.49 at a Goodwill, sold for $129.99 in about a month. These are quick and easy sales every time I've found one over the years. This is an AT&T microcell Cisco signal booster tower. So I don't know if you would call this an old technology, but people still use it. $7.49, sold for $129.99. Okay, Mia has a fun item. She says, I got 4 yards of this fabric for $1 at a yard sale. Put up 2 yards for auction and it sold for $128.49, but the buyer hasn't paid yet. So I listed the other 2 yards on a buy it now yesterday and it sold in less than an hour. This is somebody I haven't seen in a long time. Holly Hobby cotton fabric. It was 2 yards. So 4 yards of it for $1, which means 25 cents per yard. And she sold 2 yards for $135. Vintage Holly Hobby. Okay, now we have KC, $10 at the thrift store, $140 in about a month. And I don't know how to pronounce that. Babale? I don't know if the T is silent or not. Somebody let me know. It's a tennis racket. $10, sold for $140 in about a month. Susan Velte, purchased about 3 months ago in a thrift $3 a bag sale, so cost about 50 cents. Had listed for 160, took best offer of 140. First time posting in this group. Yes, you did everything correctly, Susan, and congratulations on this sale of a vintage Filson vest. This is on my personal BOLO list. I've never found one, but I always look. So 50 cents and sold for $140. Now we've got Susie Palmer Grant. She said, I sold the comforter earlier in this thread, and when I went back to Goodwill, I was thrilled to find the matching shams, meaning pillow shams. Paid $2.24 and sold for $149 after 11 days. Vintage Ralph Lauren Cosette Isadora King size shams. So look at this pattern, black background with brightly colored flowers. So when you are skimming the linen section in your thrift store or at a garage sale, you want to look for the black background. That's going to help you visually have something in your mind to look for. Just like the black granny square Afghan, those sell for more money than other colors. So I like to find things that are easy to spot when you just kind of skim through these different sections of the thrift store, because you don't have to look at every single thing. If you have some idea of what you're looking for in that section, which that's why I put the BOLO book together, to help you study and visually learn these things so you don't feel so overwhelmed and you don't have to look at every single thing. You can, do a quick scan and look for some of these items that have very distinct visual features. Okay, moving on to Eileen Cole. Paid $4 for this set of 8 softcover Carl Jung books at an estate sale. Sold in 3 weeks for $149 plus shipping. And you can see there is a nice set of books. And that is Eileen's specialty. She just loves books and she's always putting together sets. And she's told me that she'll buy some and like it's not a complete set and she'll wait for the rest of them to show up, which a lot of times they do. So here we are, $4 sold for $149 plus shipping. Okay, Casey is back with a skateboard. $7.50 at the thrift store, sold for $150 in about 5 days. This was the item I posted the incredible email thread with the original thrift store donor seeing it listed on eBay. And I missed that. So anyway, apparently the original owner saw it and realized he donated something valuable. So this was a Street Plant Mike Vallely Heart Fist Complete Skateboard. That is a tongue twister right there. $7.50 sold for $150 in less than a week. Okay, Jody Clark is back. Paid $4.24 at Goodwill for this new undrilled bowling ball. Sold in 3 days for $150 plus $25 shipping. So there you can see there it is a undrilled 13-pound storm phase bowling ball. I never knew there was such a thing. I thought they just all had holes in them, but apparently this must be a custom thing for those professional bowlers. And she said she paid $4.24 and it sold for $150. Okay, moving on to Jenny Baum. Paid $5 at a church rummage sale. Also bought replacement buttons, sold in 14 months. Tom James jacket, extra large field coat. It's leather, it's lined with wool and cashmere. $5 sold for $150. Okay, Cora Allen. Paid $25 for this at my favorite thrift store and listed it for $200 originally, then came down to $179.99 after checking comps again. It took about 6 weeks to sell on best offer plus shipping. This is a silhouette cutting machine. I'm guessing it's for scrapbooking, or I'm not sure. So Cora, if you're watching, you can comment on that. Bottom line is $25 turned into $150 in just a few weeks. Lisa Bambacci bought for $20 at a yard sale 2 months ago. I find it easier to lot things together than part out. Bit of trouble to ship as I had to create a custom box. Vintage Fisher-Price Loving Family Dollhouse. It has the people and it has the furniture. Sold for $150. And this just blows my mind because this stuff's just plastic. I mean, it's not anything expensive, but its vintage value is what makes it expensive. So $20 turned into $150. Okay, now we've got Dee Dee with no last name. Paid 75 cents at Goodwill and it sold for full asking price of $154.99 plus shipping in about a month, and that is Canadian dollars. Starbucks Cairo 2015 Global Icon Collector Series coffee mug. So there are a lot of Starbucks mugs out there, but they're not all valuable. Even these city mugs, some of them are not valuable at all. So these are the ones you got to look up in the store or just take a chance. If it's $1, just get it and do your research later. Not all Starbucks items are valuable, but Dee Dee found one that was. Next is Gail Craft Murphy. Reversible Pendleton Blanket. Gorgeous red and black pattern. $15 garage sale pickup took about a week to sell for best offer of $175. So you can see the photo there. This is quite striking and unusual. A lot of the Pendleton patterns are Southwest or like Aztec looking or just plaid. So this is unusual even for Pendleton in my experience of what I've seen. So $15 sold for $175. Brian Rappaport is back. Bought a camera bundle at an estate sale last Friday for $150 total. Sold this one lens for $179.99 within 24 hours of listing. And this is an Olympus digital 25 millimeter lens. Sarah Pete sold these today, paid $2 or less for these vintage Garfield sticker rolls. One is sealed and one is not. Definitely over 150 stickers in each roll. Best estate sale profit. I also purchased the Pendleton blanket sold 2 months ago for $200 and a Charlie Brown bathtub planter that just sold for $49.99. And I think I had these Garfield stickers back in the day because I was in high school in the 80s and stickers were the thing even for high school age kids. So you can see them there. Vintage Garfield sticker roll, 1978. $2 sold for $189.95. Dawn McMaster paid maybe $3 as these were part of a large lot of vintage Christmas items I purchased at an estate sale. Sold for $195. Doesn't say how many are in this lot. It's vintage mercury glass ornaments. $3 sold for $195. Oh, look, it's KC again. He just keeps popping up. $15 at perhaps the highest priced estate sale I've been to. Goes to show they can't know everything. I think we need t-shirts. We all need to be walking around with t-shirts on that say, they can't know everything. And then people will be like, well, who's they? Okay, sold for $199 overnight. Revo has been discussed on here lately. They actually used NASA technology to start the company and arguably produced the best lenses on Earth until the company was sold in 2008. After the sale, they started producing polycarbonate lenses. Older Revo sunglasses with real glass lenses are highly desirable. These sold for $199.95, and they have the case and the leaflet, or whatever you call that little booklet that comes with it. $15 investment, sold for $199.95. Wendy Kruger paid $5 at a church thrift shop, sold for $200 plus shipping, sold in 3 weeks. My sister spotted it in the store. Ooh, bring that sister more often. This is vintage Chanel No. 5 bath dusting powder, 8 ounce, full unused. My grandmother used Chanel No. 5 because she was about the same age as Coco Chanel. So that's what she knew in her 20s. And every time I smell that, I think of my grandmother because that was her thing, and she used the dusting powder. So I used to love to watch her put on her makeup and do all her morning routine with all of her cosmetics because everything smelled so good. Oh, look, Casey is back once again. And this is the item we talked about on the podcast last week. Um, I was in a thrift store shopping, and Casey messaged me on Facebook, and he's like, I found that thing. I was just shopping, and I was like, I know this thing from a video I did a couple of years back. Anyway, he remembered it. So we talked about that on the podcast. He paid $8 at the thrift store, and it sold for $216 in 2 days after not fully proofreading my offers sent to watchers. Now I just need to figure out how to ship it, which I'm sure he did. So this item is also in the BOLO book. The IKEA vase. It comes in the pink with the gold, and it also comes in black with the blue. So this is a definite BOLO, and these have been selling for over $200 for years. So take a look, burn this into your brain, and remember it. Okay, Wendy Kruger's back, paid $15 at a consignment store, sold for $225 plus shipping in 2 weeks. Christian Dior always sells for me within days or weeks and usually goes overseas. Vintage Christian Dior flower rose brooch, gold tone with rhinestones. $15, sold for $225. Janae Brookins paid $12 total in the clearance section at Rite Aid. These are discontinued and getting very hard to find. Sold them in a couple of weeks. So here we have another discontinued item that you may find at your grocery or drugstore or anywhere that sells health and beauty or has a pharmacy. This is Oscal calcium 500 milligrams plus vitamin D3. $12, sold for $225 for a quantity of 3. That is an excellent flip. Okay, Susie Palmer Grant is back with that Ralph Lauren black floral comforter. She said, I've sold enough Ralph Lauren linens to recognize their quality and prints, so when I spotted this hanging in my local Goodwill, you can imagine I stuffed it in my shopping cart immediately. Secured by a skinny minute because a lady walked by and said, I would have gotten that if you hadn't. She paid $12.54 and it sold for $249.10. Sean Sweeney, second pair of Gucci shoes from my $30 storage unit. Took best offer of $250. Gucci men's low top sneakers. Kaylin Smith, I always check those Facebook Marketplace listings. People have bundled items as miscellaneous or home decor because you can find some valuable items for cheap. I like to just screenshot the picture and stick it in Google Lens, and I really lucked out with this find for $10. This artist's works can vary in the hundreds, so I listed it as an auction. I try to list to earn a minimum of 3 times what I paid, so the starting price was $33. It only had 2 bidders, but the ending price was $262.50. I packaged it really well and paid a couple of dollars for insurance. Vintage Teresa T. Farr, signed and numbered Cat Serigraph. I didn't do it. $262.50. Okay, Sean Sweeney has another pair of shoes. Paid $30 for an abandoned storage locker, and it had multiple pairs of high-end shoes. This was the first pair over $100 that sold. Went through the eBay shoe authentication system without a hitch. Took an offer of $265 with free shipping. Ginger Lambright brought this Prada purse at a church rummage sale a couple of months ago for $2. Paid $35 to have it authenticated. Sold for $299.99 with free shipping. It's only going about 80 miles, so shipping with insurance is just over $10. And I want to commend you, Ginger, on spending that money to have it authenticated. A lot of sellers look at that investment as too expensive, but when you have it authenticated, and it definitely is authentic, you get that certificate of authenticity to put in your listing. So if the buyer wants to try to argue and say it's fake, then you have that as a safety net because you've already had it authenticated. And sometimes you pay that money and it's not authentic. That's a good investment too, because then you're not going to put a fake on eBay, and you've just saved yourself a lot of trouble. If you find out that it's fake, you just throw it in the trash. That's the cost of doing business sometimes. But I can't stress enough how important it is to have these higher end designer brands authenticated, because you really are covering yourself when you do that and preventing a lot of problems down the road. Okay, Terry Gonzalez. About 6 months ago, I picked this up at an estate sale so big they had to rent out a hall to have it. They said the owners of all the items had a couple of antique and vintage stores in California, and they closed them in the 80s, put everything in storage for years, then moved to Oregon, where I live, and wanted to sell everything. This Woody doll is from the 90s, so I'm guessing that they continued to shop and collect vintage items. I purchased some great items like this. It was a fantastic sale. Paid $10, sold for $374.99 plus shipping. This is a talking Woody Toy Story pull string doll in box. And she has an update. Buyer just messaged me saying they didn't order this. It's still in transit, so I'll pay the $15 and have it intercepted. So that was August 16th. The day of this recording is August 24th. So, Terry, give us an update on what happened with that. But if one person bought it and paid that much, another one will too. And finally, we have our cover photo for this edition. Rare vintage Dale Jarrett NASCAR trucker snapback hat. Sarah Eakes sold this. She said, purchased at a yard sale for approximately $1. This one is definitely one of the higher priced ones I have, but still excited to see what the other 13 three-stripe hats I bought on the same day might sell for. Yes, keep us posted on that. $1 sold for $450. That is just so impressive. Thanks to everybody who contributes to this thread. And every single time I make this video, there are new people that have had their first $100 or more sale. So if it hasn't happened to you yet, it definitely will. Just keep going. And remember, they can't know everything. That's estate sales, garage sales, thrift stores. You're going to find those things if you set that intention and seek, and ye shall find. It's all out there waiting for us. Make sure you comment below and join the discussion, and I will see you guys next time. Have a profitable and productive day on eBay. Bye.